Hello, welcome to Quackalope. Thank you for being here. Today we're getting honest answers from publishers about how the pandemic and the shipping crisis has impacted their company. I'm not going to let them know what we're asking before we hold the camera up and stick the mic in their face. Let's hear what they have to say. How has the pandemic and the shipping crisis impacted your company?
Whoa! It made everything more expensive and delayed. Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah, I mean, our shipping costs are 5-6 times what they used to be. Obviously, that drives up our prices, and everything takes a lot longer. So that's the basics of it.
You didn't warn me you were going to ask me that question. That is not an off-the-cuff question,
That's the point.
Jesse.
Most of it has impacted us in terms of timeline. So we just can't get games here soon enough, or we think things are going to hit retail in 1 month and they're not hitting retail for 6 months.
It's slowed everything down. It's made everything worse. Expensive. Very unpredictable. That's the other thing. What used to be 30 days on the water is now roll a die. That's what you get.
Oh, it's been a debacle. One of the things that happened for us, the world got lit on fire in 2020 in a way that you don't hold anybody accountable for. It just is what it is. But yeah, shipping times and prices and logistics went haywire across the board, and it's taken a long time to find any kind of new normalcy.
Cost of material, you'll probably know, has also gone up, and being in wood, it's already an expensive material. We try to be a greener company, but yeah, costs are going up. It's hard. It is hard.
It's been tricky. It's been a project management nightmare, a costing issue, and not very much fun. But we play board games to solve problems, and that's a problem we just have to figure out how to solve.
You gotta have a lot more patience, and you just understand that in a low margin business, when things skyrocket the impact costs in the back end, it does compress and hurt publishers, without a doubt.
It was terrible because it was going to completely bottom us up, and we weren't going to be here now if the community hadn't stepped up. The community did, and that was amazing. The community completely saved us. They helped us with the shipping costs. They even gave us tips to help us across the line so that we didn't make a loss, and it's unbelievable. So yeah, the community has saved us. So the shipping crisis it gave me some faith back in humanity, to be honest. It's a rough time, COVID, a rough time with shipping.
It's really putting pressure on small and medium-sized companies because they can't afford the increase, the 4x, 5x increase in their costs to get the product here. And then the delays and the chance that they won't get delivery in time for holiday is crushing for a small company, because you might have your main new product that's supposed to be arriving for holiday not show up in time. And that's devastating for a small company. You can't afford to miss your big game for the year. So I think last year put a ton of pressure on a lot of the great publishers in this space.
It has slowed things down exponentially. This is we are unfortunately not a full-time company. This is a side job for all of us that we really enjoy doing, and the whole pandemic just threw us such a curveball.
It's gotten very expensive. We were luckily able to avoid some of the worst prices for our last expansion, but it has slowed down production and moving forward with new games, because I'm not sure how we're going to afford it in the future.
It's brutal. We've swallowed all the costs. We haven't upped the price of our games, but it definitely is hard to get through. But we're getting through it.
Well, we're used to same-day delivery system like Planet Unknown, and so, waiting for boats to come in and make sure that we have the inventory in time is really tough. So we're trying to get a Lazy Susan sea container going, and we just haven't figured it out yet, but we're still working on it.
It's been a challenge. I would say, we've weathered it pretty well, but the tough thing is just getting product in time. I mean, especially Sleeping Gods, there was a high demand, and for a while it was like, how do we get enough copies here?
From staffing to shipping to working at the office, it's impacted every single day.
We manufacture in Europe instead of China, so it hasn't been quite as bad because it wasn't as bad coming across the Atlantic as the Pacific. But it definitely is a challenge, but we're happy that we have such a good source in Poland with Fabricacart, and we actually, at the beginning of the pandemic, we ordered a huge number because they had a spot available for us, and that allowed us to kind of hedge the prices some, because we were able to buy basically a year and a half supply last spring in the beginning of the pandemic.
Obviously, the demand, the sales were way up during the past 2 years, given to the fact that people were stuck inside and wanted to entertain themselves and their kids. However, shipping delays and obviously increased cost of shipping affected the bottom line very much so.
It's been tough. We're adjusting to the pricing. Luckily, we haven't had too many delays, but we're hoping that they come down and, improve.
So the shipping crisis sucks. It's increasing. So in terms of inflation, the shipping went up, I would say 500%, up to 500%, 300 to 500%. So that clearly goes into our costs.
I think we mitigated them by reducing the size of one of the boxes of our main core game to reduce the air inside of it, but also making sure we don't hit Chinese New Year. I think that's the main thing.
I mean, to be serious about it, right? It's brutal. It's kind of crushing, right? So we've had to tell people we were sold out today when we should have had a lot of stuff in the booth, but that's okay. Everyone's like really respectful, and it's all that. So.
Well, it has been great that this community, when you first come into it, it feels so large, but it's actually very small, and everyone knows each other, and it's been amazing to be able to fall back on other people and just be able to reach out to other companies and be like, hey, how are you handling things? Like, can we get some advice? Can we help each other out? It's been an amazing community that's been able to support each other through it.
The understanding of the creators that everybody's going through a lot. It's a lot harder than they expected. Every single time we think it's going to get better, something turns around and makes it worse again. The people who are able to pull it off, it's usually out of luck. I'm one of the people in that situation. We were still able to deliver our last expansion somewhat on time. It's not because we were somehow better at dealing with it. We just got lucky. Everybody's in this situation. We're all just doing the best we can.
So the shipping crisis is affecting everybody in so many ways, so much so that I've had Block and Key on the soil in the U.S. since July 1st. And the trains and transports are so backed up, it's late even getting to Gen Con and backer fulfillment. So every step of the way has been an absolute pain in the butt. And the worst part is not only is it slower, but it's 4 times the price.
We got into a position where we had, inventory from our factory sitting in a container at a dock in Seattle for about 9 weeks. And legally, we couldn't unload it. And we couldn't get anybody to open the container. And we couldn't get anybody to put it on a truck. And we couldn't get it to game stores. And it created all of these challenges that nobody in our industry or many other industries was at all able to navigate. We had very few options, and it was extremely frustrating, especially because for players at the end of the day, they're like, hey, I ordered this thing. Why haven't I gotten it? And that's a reasonable position, right? Like you wanted your game and you want to get it, and we want to give it to you, and we made it, and we have it, and there's literally no truck we can put it on that will take it to you.
Pre-pandemic, bringing over a carton was maybe $4,000, and then kind of at the height of the shipping costs, $22,000. So that's significant. I mean, that brings over 7,000-8,000 games ish. So I mean, that's a significant portion of each game that's been eaten up by shipping costs that were brand new.
I've also been kind of intimidated to do more crowdfunding because fulfillment is so hard. It's like, how do we make sure that everybody gets it? And especially the old days where maybe backers were expecting everyone to get it kind of at the same time. Like, those days are over. So it has been a little intimidating, difficult, but, we're figuring things out.
Yeah, so I would just urge everybody, be patient with publishers. Obviously, we're dealing with unprecedented price increases. Luckily, we were able to, for our Misleaf campaign, not pass along any shipping cost increases. But yeah, it's a tricky time for everybody, right? The shipping rates are starting to come down a little bit, so maybe they'll only be 3 or 4 times what they were pre-pandemic. But that's when you see the prices going up and people are like, oh, these money-grubbing bastards, they're trying to get all this money. It's like, we're really just trying to make our budgets balance. We got to pay our staff, we got to pay ourselves, and we got to make great games. So that's now going to be permanently more expensive, and we'll just try and find the best ways that we can handle that on the logistics side.
Things are slowly getting better. We're recovering from it, but it looks like we're in it for the long haul. It's not ending anytime soon. It's just figure out how to work with it rather than against it.
But the main thing, I would just really like for all the gamers and everyone to be patient with us. We don't want to charge you more for things. We rather don't want to charge you those high shipping rates. But unfortunately, they are the prices that we get charged, and it hurts.
These last 2 years have been absolutely the most challenging time to be a game publisher. I see a lot of my friends struggle. We have had to change future plans because of it. It's been really tough, and I feel for everybody, just trying to get through things. So, any support people can give to their favorite publisher, they seriously appreciate it.
I will say this, I have found a ton of our fans are understanding this. I know some people aren't, but we've had a lot of people say, yeah, that's how shipping is, and we appreciate the heck out of that. Having people understand that there's nothing we can do about it. I can only throw so much money at them even, it doesn't matter. That's been really, really helpful. So thank you, those of you who understand, and we're trying our best to work around it, working with different shipping partners and finding different routes. Sometimes we're bringing stuff in from other parts of the country, but it's a nightmare, and we're doing our best. Thanks.